If you want to build the best team in FC26 in those first couple of weeks, you need to know what cards to avoid. These 10 cards that I've got for you here today, I've seen in loads of people's different teams, in you guys in the Discord as well as online, and they shouldn't be in your team for a variety of reasons. But not only that, today I'm going to show you as well, if you were thinking about using these players, who to use instead, who's a better option, and I'll explain why as well. If you're new here, boys, I'm Big G, the Jamaican white boy. I'm literally an FC nerd, man. I'm a data analyst for a living, so I love finding which cards are going to be meta in the new games and which ones are not. So I'm qualified to talk about this. So yeah, make sure you stick around as well, because these last two on the list I've seen in so many people's teams, and they should definitely not be in your FC26 starter team. So jumping into number one here, might be a controversial one, but listen up, okay? We've got William Saliba, and as you can see, for each of these players, I've got a few good points, which means they actually are decent for a few reasons. But then, obviously, for this video, we have the negatives and the reasons to which I think you should avoid them in your starter teams. So start with Saliba. Listen, okay, listen. This Saliba card will be a very good centre-back. He has a great playstyle plus with Anticipate plus, and it'll be extremely meta early game. However, he'll be extremely overpriced due to his league and nation. French Premier League, overpriced, right? And the second point as well is he's not actually as OP as last year. I don't know exactly how fast he was last year, but I believe he hit that 80 pace mark, and this year he's only 77. So he's still really good, right? If you pack him untradeable, great. You're going to throw him into your starter team. This is if you're looking to buy players for your team. I would not choose William Saliba. And if we jump over onto the FC26 database, the card that I think, if you were looking for a replacement early game, is just someone simple like Ibanez. And this is obviously a big downgrade from Saliba in terms of just pure quality. But early game, I mean, those coins count. And I think you've got to be spending all of your coins where you can on those attacking players. So I would say go with someone like Ibanez. Ibanez has 87 pace, 83 defending, 85 physical. He just looks cracked, right? This Ibanez card looks amazing. Aerial fortress, intercept, jockey block, all of this, right? But because of the rating and then the league and the nation as well, well, he's Brazilian, but because of the league, he'll be way cheaper than Saliba. So save your coins for those attackers. Get Ibanez or someone similar instead of Saliba. And don't spend this many coins in the first couple of weeks on a centre-back. I just don't think you need to. Coming in at number two, we have got another popular player, really popular nation, really popular club, of course, with Real Madrid. And this is Tchouaméni, right? Tchouaméni now has been great for a few years in FC. However, this year, I think he's just a must-avoid, right? If you look at this Tchouaméni card, of course, good links, right? He's got a French, La Liga, Real Madrid, class links, easy to get in your team. However, he is very slow for a central midfielder. I think people see that 70 plus pace, and because they see the 7 at the start, they think, oh, it's fine. 71's not great. There's definitely faster players. Low agility and balance, which we'll go over to on a minute on the database, and also a 3-star weak foot. I think people underestimate on these midfielders having a low weak foot when you're going to be passing the ball with these players a lot. Early game, it'll just cause you loads of frustration. Like, there'll be loads of passes going wide and not to your players, and it'll be because of that 3-star weak foot. But if we jump in now on the database to Tchouaméni's in-game stats, I've also put low agility and balance. And now, Tchouaméni's agility and balance, is 72 and 70, right? Which is not low as a start. But what I'm actually trying to get at here is, because he has that 78 dribbling, I think a lot of people think he'll feel nice on the ball. And when someone's got a high dribbling stat like that for a central midfielder, I think it always comes down to these first two stats, which dictates how well they actually feel on the ball and how nice they are to use. And because his agility and balance are by far his lowest dribbling stats, I think a lot of people are going to be disappointed. When it comes to using a player instead of him, I think there's almost a straight like-for-like swap, and this is Camavinga. If we go into Camavinga's card, boys, if we look, agility and balance, you get a plus 10 basically on both. He's way faster. You're getting a plus 10 on pace. He's almost the exact same card. He's just better, right? He's a rating lower, so I wouldn't be surprised if he comes in at a similar price. And this Camavinga card with a shadow, just standalone, looks amazing as a defensive midfielder. So if you were thinking about using Tchouaméni this year, I'd just go Camavinga instead, or just go a completely, different option that's not as a popular league and nation. But I'd definitely avoid Tchouaméni. Up next, boys, we are over to the Premier League and we have got Sarr. And now, I did say at the start that I'm choosing players that a lot of people have in their starter teams. So this is why Sarr's in here. I've seen him in so many Prem starter teams. And starting with the good points, look, he'll be really fast. 91 pace with all the pace nerfs that we've seen so far will be really quick, boys. And he'll be cheap as well. Whenever someone's an off nation in the Premier League, like Sarr's Senegalese, they're often really, really cheap. 79 rated as well, which means he'll honestly probably be discard. I think you'll pick him up for 700 to 1,000 coins. So why shouldn't you use him? Well, as you can see, I've highlighted there 2-star weak foot and 3-star skill moves, but especially that two-star weak foot, boys. On an attacker, it's just a no-go for me at least, and I think it should be for you as well. I think that alone should be a reason that you don't use this Sarr card. He has decent stats. I'm looking at it now. He doesn't have many great play styles. He does just have rapid and quick step. But boys, 2-star weak foot and 3-star skill moves on an attacker, there is definitely better options. And now I'm going to assume that most people here are using him at right wing. And if you are using this right wing, which I think you should be, the like-for-like replacement on the database we've got is Anthony Elanga. And now looking at Elanga's card already, I actually think this card, by the way, just as a separate point again, will be amazing early game in FC26. He's 92 pace, so he's faster than Sarr, but just about. He doesn't have as good stats in terms of like shooting, passing. I think his dribbling his dribbling's a little bit better than Sarr's, 78 dribbling. But if you look at the one thing that I'm looking at here, same skill moves as Sarr, but 5-star weak foot, boys, that makes all the difference. It really, really does. On an attacker, that's the night and day. That's a couple of wins in foot champs. It's that serious when the players are missing chances because of the weak foot. So if you're thinking about putting Sarr in your starter team, forget it. Just go with Elanga instead. Save yourself the trouble. They'll be similar price. Elanga will be a little bit more expensive, but not too much at all. So yeah, if you're thinking about putting Sarr in your starter squad, Elanga instead. Up next, boys, we have got Elise. And now, again, I've seen this card in so many different starter teams, and I've been looking on Twitter, TikTok, just all sorts. I can't believe it, right? Why to avoid? As you can see, I've put as a good stat. Like, he has okay stats in terms of just base card stats. Like, they're not bad, obviously. He's an 86 rated card. But I've put okay because they're not actually amazing. Like, they're not insane for an 86 rated card. But then coming to the negatives, he's slow, which, if you look, he can only play on the wing. So he's slow, 78 pace for a winger, just no. He's overpriced because he's basically fodder. So even if people realise the card's not great, he'll be fodder price. So he's overpriced. 2-star weak foot as well as Sarr on an 86 rated card. Obviously, it's because of real life, but honestly, you can't use that in an attacking player, like we said before. And yeah, the last point there, can't play central, which if he could play central, if this card could play at cam, maybe it's fine, you'll get away with it. But only being able to play on the wing, honestly, a no-go. And for this Elise card, boys, I've not done a specific replacement because I think it's kind of obvious. This Elise card, you can replace with pretty much any right wing on the game that's half decent. So I know Elanga's a different league, like we showed before. Elanga's a better card. Just anyone faster with better weak foot is a better card than this Elise in your starter team. So I'm not going to give you a specific replacement here because I don't think you need one. I think if you were thinking about putting Elise in your starter team, or maybe you've just not seen his card yet and you've just seen it now, yeah, you're going to need to choose someone else for that right wing spot. Up next, boys, we have got a fan favourite. We have got Jonathan David. And him being a fan favourite is kind of the reason he's in this list. He's been in your team at some point in a previous year, let's be honest. He's been in my team in previous years when he's been playing for Lille. But this year, boys, he's just not the one, right? He is cheap. Well, he will be cheap because of his stats. And he has got 5-star weak foot, but it about ends there. If we go into his negatives, awful agility and balance. We'll jump onto the database in a second. And a main one there, and it's part of the reason, like I say, he's on this list, he's not as OP as previous years. What you see is when a card has been OP in FIFA for a while, people tend to put them in their team sort of regardless because they're so used to having them in. They think they're going to play well in game. This Jonathan David this year, boys, is not the one. If I just hop over to the database now and we search him up, we've got Premier League right wing on. Let's get rid of that. We find Jonathan David. Where is he? There he is. And we go into his card here, boys. Again, 75 agility and 71 balance, boys, when he's got 80 dribbling. Not great. He has 3-star skill moves. He's 79 acceleration. He's controlled, so he's not lengthy. Look, he does have some good points with a few of those first shooting stats and great stamina. Boys, maybe for Evos, that's the one I can give you. If there's a decent Evo that boosts pace quite a lot. But yeah, Jonathan David's not the one this year, boys. If you've used him before and enjoyed him, great. I think he's gone similar to the sort of Ben Yedder path where he's fell off a cliff right at the end. So yeah, Jonathan David, not the one for your team. As an alternative, I'd go for... There's two options, right? if you go in for more coins, I'd have a look at this Ademola Lookman. He'll definitely cost more than Jonathan David, but look at the difference in agility. He's got 10 plus balance. He's got like 20 plus agility, way faster. Yes, he'll be higher rated. He doesn't have the 5-star weak foot, but he's 4-star, 4-star, so he's more like sort of overall well balanced. Shooting stats are better than Jonathan David's. Honestly, Lookman, if you're looking for a striker, or if you're going to argue that Lookman would be more expensive, I'd instead then go for this Moise Kean. Yes, he's 3-star, 3-star, which we've said before isn't great, but that plus 10 on agility and balance, shooting stats being better than Jonathan David. He has similar physicals as well. This Moise Kean will play better in game than this Jonathan David, and I think it's just an all-round, like-for-like, better replacement. And this is really if you're doing a Serie A starter team. If you're just doing general, there's definitely other better strikers as well. But for Serie A, yeah, Moise Kean and Lookman is who I'd replace Jonathan David with if he was going in your starter team. Once again, boys, another controversial one, which again is a sort of theme of this list. We've gone with Chawinga next, and you need to listen here, right? The whole point, like I say, of this list is to show you cards that people are choosing, not cards like Maguire that no one's going to use, right? It's cards that people are choosing in their starter teams, and I don't think you should. And let me explain why I think Chawinga is another one of them. Chawinga, by the way, was amazing last year. And just to be clear, she will play very well at the start of this game as well. It's similar to Saliba, where if you think that you were going to buy it, I'd say no. But if you pack out untradeable, it's a different story. Throw it in their team. If you look at this card, I've said good face stats. 91 pace, 82 shooting, 82 dribbling, 83 physical. All great. 77 passing is decent as well. But this card will be priced at a premium because of the rating, because people know how good she was last year, and because of those face stats. For similar price on cards, you will get a Playstyle Plus. This Chawinga not having a Playstyle Plus is already putting me off her. And like I say, they're overpriced, again, because of those face stats and because of the rating. And there's a better replacement, which will come in at like a fraction of the cost. And honestly, one of the main reasons Chawinga's on the list, if we go over to the FC26 database, is because of this replacement right here. Kunde Nanji, same position, same league, way lower rated at 82 rated, but boys, Chawinga's 4-star, 4-star. This Kunde Nanji is 4-star, 5-star, can also play at striker, has about the same pace, shooting, dribbling, and passing, slightly lower, has more physical, has really, really good play styles, and also has no Playstyle Plus. So we'll come in at a fraction of the cost of Chawinga, when I think is actually a better card. So if you were thinking about going with Chawinga in your FC26 team, I'd have a look at this Rachel Kundananji instead, who I think is not only a better card, but will be, cheaper as well because of the rating. So boys, I'm saying Chawinga is an avoid this year at the start of the game. Coming in next, we have got a left back. We have got Selma Batcher. And again, this is one of those ones which I think I'm including here because of how many people are looking to put her in their starter teams. This Selma Batcher looks very, very decent until you sort of dig into it, right? Great face stats, like I've mentioned there. But again, we're talking about the price here. For the price that Batcher will be, you can definitely get a better left back. She does have a Playstyle Plus, and it is whipped. And there was points in the previous few years when this whip pass was kind of OP. You could abuse it with someone like Miroslav Klose, who had great heading, and you could sort of, make a meta that way. But obviously, we know this is a really bad Playstyle Plus, especially for a fullback. You really want something like Bruiser, Anticipate, Intercept, even Incisive would have been a little bit nicer. And the main point I've said to it is no Bruiser and low strength. And boys, this is a general tip for fullbacks going into SC26. If we look at Batcher on the database, right? Bring her up here. When you're looking at the play styles for your fullbacks, boys, really, if you can, you're only looking to choose cards, in my opinion, that have Bruiser, at least grey. You're not going to find many with Bruiser Gold, Bruiser Plus, but look for cards that have Bruiser play style. Because as a fullback, your main job last year, and I think it'll be this year as well, was just going muscle to muscle with the opponent's winger, so that if you couldn't beat them in a foot race for pace, you can shove them off the ball, win the ball, and it would save you so many times. This Batcher has amazing stats on some of the stats. Like, look at that agility, balance, acceleration. It's really good, yeah? But look at that 72 strength with no Bruiser. She'll feel so weak. I'm pretty sure she's quite small as well, because obviously, yeah, she's 5'3". Boys, honestly, I can't express this one enough. Do not use this Batcher in your starter teams. Easy to link. There's definitely better replacements. This is one similar to Elise, where there's not a specific replacement I'd have instead. Just look for any other left back that has either much higher strength Or really, to be honest, if you're looking for a really good starter left back, look for someone who's got Bruiser plus, and they will just play so much better in game. So yeah, not a specific replacement on this one. You can definitely find a lot of replacements that will play better than this Batcher in game for your starter team. On to the next one. Right, boys, I'm not talking about Endlet specifically here, as I think that's very obvious. This is meant to cover a general sort of broader range of players. This is similar to Batcher, defensive and goalkeeper women players in Ultimate Team for a few reasons. Fullbacks you can sometimes get away with, but honestly, boys, when you're talking about the centre backs and the goalkeeper, often women are really, how would you describe it? They don't play as well as their stats in game in these defensive positions for the reasons I've listed here. They can be cheaper, yes, but their height, body type, and often things like strength, but mainly I'd say the height and body type, just means they get bullied in the air and they sort of get bullied on them physical battles. This goes for goalkeepers as well with the height question. We've seen it with the Green Time Travellas last year. They have changed the way that goalkeepers play in FC26, so we might see this change and you might see me taking this back. But I highly doubt it. I think for goalkeepers, it's always going to be that way. So, boys, this is a general point. And again, you're not really needing a replacement here. It's just if you were looking at getting a backline or a goalkeeper of sort of from maybe the women's MLS leagues or the women's French league, maybe for chemistry, I'd just look to avoid it. Even though it seems a bit weird, it honestly has been a thing in recent years. Apart from the very high-end cards, they're just honestly not as meta as some of the cards like you've seen so far, like Ibanez, or, you know, like a Van Dijk when you're talking the top end as well. So that's sort of a general broad one. And similarly, for this next one here, we've got Lewandowski on the screen. And again, this is to cover not just Lewandowski, but basically, if you're a new player to FC26, which you might be if you're watching this video, this is a fodder card, right? We're talking just all fodder cards. How to spot a fodder card, if you're new, is normally the pace. As you can see, slow equals bad. I've kind of jokingly put it makes SBCs easier because they're fodder cards. But yeah, they'll be overpriced because they're fodder. And they're often tempting for lower div players. But yeah, if you look at these cards, they're often got bad play styles. Slow is the main one. They're just not great for the position. But the rating does often tempt people. Or sometimes with Lewandowski, it's the sort of name and the stature of the card. You know, people know him from real life. They come over to FIFA. They think he's going to be great. If you're in them lower divisions, look out for these fodder cards. Don't put them in your team. Again, as an alternate, you're looking for someone who's cheap, faster, often way lower rated. You don't need these high rated cards early on. Some other examples are cards like De Bruyne, Kimmich is normally a similar one. Even cards like Bruno Fernandes, who looks a little bit slower this year, are often going to fall into that fodder category. So don't be caught by the fodder trap if you're new to FC26 or you're in those lower divisions. And again, boys, in a sort of similar vein, we have got all icons and heroes. I've chose Skulls and Collar here just as an image, but this is just all icons and heroes, right? Yes, they're cool, and yes, you get some major street cred. But these cards, early game, this is all about early game, are majorly overpriced. If you someone who spends £10,000 in FIFA points and you can go and afford to get, you know, R9 in the first week, you're different, right? We're not on about you. We're on about us normies who can't afford to do that. They are too overpriced because of how rare they are. They're extremely rare. And for almost every icon and hero, apart from those top 10%, I can find you a better gold example at a fraction of the price. So don't be tempted. If you're a Man United fan, it might be tempting to use Skulls, and similarly for some other icons and heroes. But don't be tempted. Spend the coins elsewhere. And if you pack someone really good early on, like an icon or a hero, sell them, reinvest those coins into some golds. Look, there's an argument to be made that I'm being a bit boring here. If you're just using these cards in FC because you want the most fun possible, and you get that by using Skulls because you're a Man United fan, not going to stop you. Go for it, of course. But we're talking meta here. And yeah, if we're talking meta, these cards are not the one early game. You can wait until they come out in promo packs or when they get icon picks later down the line. And that's when they become more viable, more meta. But you're often not going to buy these cards on the market unless you've got a million coins early on. I know a lot of these cards, boys, were really popular and it's going to piss a few people off, but I can really assure you, I've played FC for a while now. A lot of these cards I show you today, you need to avoid for the reasons mentioned. Or if you pack them untradeable like Saliba and Chewinga, it's a little different. But if you're looking for who are the most meta cards to use, check out this video here where I went through 10 of the must-use start cards in FC26. And these are often just these better alternate cards that'll be way cheaper, way more meta in game. And if you're new around here, boys, hit the subscribe button. We're going to be doing a Road to Zlatan series on the channel, and loads more FC26 content. But again, like always, until next time, boys, in a bizzle.